Recording in progress.
Hi, Kimberly.
Hey, Tony.
I'm going to pull out our magical spin wheel. Let's see if I can get it to show on the screen. Will it show? Will it show? Yeah, it won't show. It does. Oh, yeah. It says number 4 up there. Can you see that?
4?
4. Oh,
okay.
One of us have the list.
I got the list. 4 is Oracle cards.
Ooh. Your not favorite topic.
Well, that's okay. I could talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Happens that I even have some just sitting beside me as usual.
This is one of Tony's specialties, so yeah. I'm excited about this.
What? Have we talked about why we're talking about so many different topics? I think we have, right? We're just talking.
Well, we can touch on it.
Yeah, maybe if you've just popped into this one, because we're talking all things magical on Monday, Magical Mondays. So we're talking about everything that we find magical.
That's right.
Right.
And Oracle cards was put on the list.
Mm-hmm. Well, because we separated out Oracle and Tarot, because it's also we like to teach about stuff too, right? So Oracle's a little different. It's not Tarot.
That's right. They are different.
Not Tarot. In fact, I was just in, it was so cute. I hope if you girls haven't listened, I was in chapters and there's these girls that know nothing really about any of it, but the ones like, well, I only like Tarot because it is much better than Oracle cards. And none of them knew, and then she's like, I think there's like 72 in the Tarot. And like, so basically you know nothing about either, but that's okay to like what you like. So I just didn't want them all to poo-poo on the Oracle because you can get guidance from Oracle too.
I always tell people, I used to go to this bookstore for McNally Robinson for coffee, and I was doing a reading for somebody once, and the waitress asked if she could read, like if you could read, I can't remember, like, can you read like crystals? Can you do this and that? I'm like, girl, you could read anything that you get a message out of, as long as it means something to you. That's the way I see it. But Oracle cards are another way to get messages.
Yeah, they're another way to get messages. The difference, I guess, is oracles are always done by a different author, so they're always going to have a different meaning. So, and tarot, if you know how to read tarot, you can pretty much pick up any tarot deck and read it.
That's right.
Right, but Oracle, I always say for me, the reason I like oracles is they're quick, or I'm drawn to the artwork, or I like the particular author. And I always find if I use them in my tarot reads, they kind of end up being like the slap upside of the head at the end of the read, or they're that little extra punch, or just that little extra oomph somebody needs to hear. It's like a sum up or a little bit of a guidance to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I really love the messages they have. But there are literally thousands of oracle decks, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Like thousands, and some are better than others. Yes.
Yes, I have a couple. I've got one beside me right now I really like. But
so tell everyone why you like. We might as well come from both ends. Why don't you love oracle cards?
Yeah, that's right. I'm one of those people who prefers the tarot. And the reason being is because, I'm even different with you in tarot. Like, you have a lot of decks, right? I don't. I only use one, basically. So, and that's the original the original tarot deck, which is the Rider-Waite, right? And the reason why I prefer those over other decks, over Oracle, is because in my opinion, you can get so much out of just that 78 card deck right there that I don't need anything else. There's symbolism in all the cards. It kind of touches on everything that I like and use. And so, is it about not liking Oracle cards so much, or is it more about just a preference on tarot? I don't know. I think for me, the Oracle phenomenon, whatever you want to call it, is kind of it seems very fad-esque right now, which is totally fine, right? It doesn't mean there's no magic in it. I just think that for me personally, I don't know. I kind of it just doesn't feel like juicy enough to hold my attention because it's too like popular. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about it where it's like I don't know. I know that there's probably Oracle cards that have like unfortunate cards within it, but I haven't encountered any of that. So that's what I like about the tarot, specifically about the Rider-Waite, because you get things like the Ten of Swords, or you get things like the Death card, or you get things like the Devil or the Tower. You know what I mean? So it's not all light and fluffy. And I sometimes think that the Oracle cards can go in the light and fluffy direction, which is totally allowed. It's totally cool, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. What about you? Why do you like the Oracle cards?
It's kind of funny because on my live on White Dragon Tarot today, I pulled the Devil and the Death card in Oracles.
Oh, in Oracles, hey?
Hmm.
Hmm.
And the Fool. So it's interesting.
Wait, isn't that tarot then?
No, because they're just fortune reading cards. In fact, they're so hokey. I rarely use them because she chose to put fortune reading cards on the back of her card. I'm like, why would you do that? But they were just fun to pull. Why do I like Oracle? I think because I'm so attracted to the artwork. I love it. I always review. So if we're telling our listeners anything, just go. There's not anything on the planet that isn't reviewed anymore. So go start looking and you'll notice if tarot readers like go to tarot sites even and look it up and you'll get an idea if someone thinks it's a lighter or fluffier deck. But also if you just go to the store and there's a deck you love, well, then get it.
Yeah.
There's a message. You can always give it away if it's not for you. And I tend to like I'll do a theme. I'll be like in this dragon mode. So I'll be doing dragon tarot. So then I want my dragon oracle to go with it because it kind of sums it up. I also have been doing enough oracle decks that I kind of know people I like too, right?
That's right. Like the art and the way they write.
There's like some, and then you have to know like some oracle decks, like the writing is like 3 pages long. Well, that's not ever anything I'm going to use for a read with someone. That's really in depth. But if I find one that just feels like sums it up, like some of those first oracle decks I use, it's almost comical. I'm done someone's read and then I pull out an oracle and we read it and it's like, or I could have just pulled you this oracle at the beginning, but you needed the long explanation and then the sum up, and I really love that. I also like it for quick reads for people because they can connect with it very easily, or if they're brand new learners, because tarot can be complicated at the beginning, right? And then you're just looking at the book and that's how we all start, but still oracle is really easy if you just need a message, right?
It is. It's true.
Really easy. It's nice. I love artwork. I love everything visual.
I hear you. Yeah.
That's kind of, but I have my favorite oracle decks. I have some I rarely pull out. And then also we talked about intuition last week. I trust my intuition, and I always find it's funny when I trust which oracle decks are going to come out with which tarot deck. They often complement and pair each other. So I like that pairing. No right. I'm with you too. No right or wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
You'll see lots of like Kimberly who like one deck, maybe one oracle deck, and that's what they use. Like that's how when I learned the first time from the lady, she had one deck and it was wearing out because that's what she used and that was her one oracle, and trust it. But if you love many different things, then play around with it. Go get some reviews. Go see. They just have a different message than tarot.
They do. Yeah. And I was doing readings for a while. Not that this is the Kim and Tony like our right show, but I was doing readings where I was utilizing the tarot deck that I use, and then I was throwing in some of these, the Yogic Path by Sahara Rose. Are you familiar with that at all?
No, I see. I don't even have that oracle deck.
They're beautiful. I bought these just specifically for the artwork.
I'm familiar with the deck. I just don't own it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Like I just bought it because I'm like no fuck oracle cards, but these were beautiful, so I had to. And then I made some artwork to kind of like because I was so inspired by the actual artwork. So I can totally relate to you there. But yeah, I started doing readings for a while there where I would like pull one from there, one from my Rider Waite, and one from my astrology tarot. And it was like, hey, the message you get when you incorporate different things is kind of cool. So I opened up to trying that a little bit and I enjoyed it. So yeah, you can literally do anything you want, in our opinion.
You can do anything. So if you're here wondering about oracle cards and you've been attracted to them and you've really wanted to buy a deck, then I would say absolutely go buy a deck of oracle
Yeah.
review, or just go in and see which one you're attracted to. If you, especially if you can find a store that has open decks and you can start to look and you like the messages, then yeah, they're great for pulling one every day, the beginning of the week. If you're not doing tarot, then just get the messages from, usually they have some kind of spread that the author's done in them. There's so many things you can do with them. They're fun, they're light, they can be in depth. So I know some, like the Lana Fairchild ones, she'll have like a whole deck on a certain goddess, right? And they have lots of meaning and they're usually very in depth. So if you wanted some real light and fluffy words, then don't go for those. So really feel them out. But also if you aren't attracted to them and you just want tarot, that's totally, I guess what we're saying is I find them super magical. You use them once in a while. If they infuse magic into your life, incorporate them because they are very fun if you're attracted to them.
Do you think, here's a question for you, since this is about magic, do you think that there are people who, sorry, maybe people's not the word, but do you think that, what are your feelings about using, I don't know how to word this. I should have thought about this before I interjected here. I guess you can incorporate people. Do you think there are people who would say that oracle cards are not traditionally magical tools, so they would kind of like maybe disregard them? Or is that like a thing of the past?
Oh, I bet there's some people that are in that traditional way, but then that would be like not being willing to just to assume only the people of the past got the magical divination tools and we can't get them now, right?
Yeah, it's
And you
true.
know what? Some of them have completely been oversold. You can see that by their fourth deck, they're just popping out decks because they're told to, right?
Yeah.
And if you, even though, but then again, I have some decks by an author who will not be named who no longer does it, and they're not my favorite. But once in a while, I'll have a deck that'll literally be like, yeah, you know what? I want you to use this deck. And the messages inevitably help people. They're like, so I'm like, it's really not about the cards so much as the person using them, right? So if you find one you're super attracted to and you love it, use it. And if you go in and you're like Kimberly and you're like, oh, I only like tarot, what's wrong? Nothing's wrong with you. Then don't use oracle cards, right?
Yeah,
But if you
that's right.
love them, grab them, use them. They're also, what I do find oracle cards are good for is when you're starting out with people who are a bit scared of tarot. There are some people, there's still a fear out there that we won't get into that because we'll talk about tarot one day. But when there's no fear of, when there's a fear of it, oracle seems to be a little safer, right? People can come in and they can pull one and get a message, and it helps to ease them in to realize that we're not doing works of the devil, right?
Yeah, when I worked at the metaphysical shop, that happened a lot. People were a little overwhelmed or frightened of tarot, and it's like understandable, but
Yeah.
so they'd come in looking for oracle cards, or they'd come in looking for another one that we didn't put on the list, but can be thrown in. Here's the angel cards, right?
Right.
So yeah, it's like,
There's so many, and I have my opinions on different ones, but I don't want to sway anyone, so just trust it. But I know I have like that archetype deck that I was pulling for both of us, and there's some pretty big wins if you can tell. And sometimes, you know what, all you freaking need in the morning is light and fluffy, right? Go have a good day. Well, then use those decks. But sometimes I have a few decks that I use like very seldom because I know the author put a lot of themselves into it.
mm-hmm.
And so there's a big depth and you can create a circle and you can do so much with it. But that's because I love oracle cards, right? So.
Yeah, and Tony loves oracle cards, and Kimberly's like meh.
And we're both very magical.
That's right. I guess the moral of the story is it's just another tool you can utilize if you're drawn to it, and utilize the messages that they bring through it. And the artwork is even, sometimes I find that like the artwork speaks more than even the descriptions do.
And you can use them that way too. You could never use the person's book and just be touched by their own artwork, right? There's
Yeah,
ways.
absolutely.
But if it's a tool, it's like being a carpenter. There's certain tools you don't like, some use and some don't. So
Yeah.
the tool you want in your toolbox, I love it because of those reasons I just stated. If there's a reason you don't, then you'll see that Kimberly gets along just fine with very few oracle decks, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
If you want to play with them, they're not scary. They're super fun. They're artwork. They're an inexpensive hobby. If you buy a $30 tarot deck, I mean oracle deck, and you don't like it, you have a gift for someone that will like it.
That's true. And people do love oracle, so it wouldn't be a bad gift.
Oracle and magic and magical Mondays. And you know what? I'd love that people too, more than likely people listening to us have oracle decks. You're right. Like they've become the thing, right?
Yeah, it's true. And when I said that, it's not like a negative. It's just that's one reason why I'm a weirdo. It's like I like things that stay on the fringes a little bit, but even tarot isn't really on the fringe anymore, right? So
Not anymore. So as you follow the red lipstick babes, and I'm usually like that too. We're not really fad people, but I love oracle cards. So
and you're allowed to.
but what happens is I'm just like you. It's be like, oh, everyone wants this deck. Oh, no, I don't. I want that oracle deck that hardly anybody's ever heard of. Oh, you
Yeah.
can't. So that's just our personality. If you want oracles and you think they're magical, like if you're suddenly attracted to dragons, go get a dragon oracle and do it, or fairies, or forests, or trees, or pretty much any topic you can think of, you'll find an oracle deck.
It's kind of cool too, because if you have a passion, you could find an oracle deck around it, right? I'm sure of it.
Oh yeah, 100% you can.
Like working in that metaphysical shop, there was an oracle deck for everything. So
yeah, and online, oh my gosh, there's even like there's people on Etsy, and like everybody has an oracle deck or something.
Yeah, it's a cool tool. It's a cool tool for your belt.
It's cool too. Hey, we could pull them a wild woman oracle.
Hey, do it up.
Do we?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this to you guys. So this is a deck you can't get anymore. Sorry. Unless you find it used or someone gifts it to you. So there's the not fad deck, but I love it. And there you go. I think this woman put a lot of work into her book. And I think so we're gonna get passage. So what you'll do with an oracle is the problem with our background, right? Passage. So they all kind of have this look. So that's another thing you can go online and see. Are you attracted to this more shadowy look? But this one's passage. And I'm going to read it to you. We'll send them off with a message. I haven't pulled this one very often. And that's the difference with oracle. If we could probably come up in an intuitive message of passage for someone, but this one you're going to get more of the message by reading the book. If you came to us for tarot, we're going to give you our own message of what comes through, right? Okay, wild woman, passage. Passage is a word misunderstood. It suggests movement from one place to the other. Consider for a moment the passage is something more than you go through without movement, as if it were an initiation of sorts. Consider that passage is that which you are always engaged in as you move in and out of each moment in your life. There are little and big passages, just like little and big moments. Sometimes the simplest moments are the most profound. Simple, wild woman is a word also misunderstood. Simple is made to look easy or made to look quick, but simple is clear and can be as profound as any moment you might ever have. Notice that with each moment, you are in passage into something new. You are traveling into all that you are in any given moment. And when you realize this, you'll know that you have reached the initiation of the wild woman, knowing that each moment is a passage into something greater than ever came before because it's new. And with this comes the allowing necessary to open your heart to all experiences you can have. It's like you're literally birthing into yourself in every moment and coming out new with a freshness for life that gives you a new set of eyes with which to see your perceptions change before your very eyes. This is a gift. Coming into yourself and allowing for the passages of life to take place with compassion and lightheartedness, you will initiate yourself into yourself without the need for anyone to tell you of your wisdom. You will know. Wild Woman Passage is a sacred event unfolding every minute of your day. It takes a conscious awareness to be present to the steps you take and choices you make in each moment. Passage takes you to another passage, and passage is always there for you, whether you like it or not. To be present allows you to take ownership in your life, deciding which road to take and which path to climb, and it allows you the full experience of all of you. It's as if with each step you move into another dimension of yourself with newness available for you to create yourself. So create yourself. You do not have to find yourself. You are here. Create yourself in every moment in passage. What an enormous gift to yourself and ultimately to our world. Oracle card.
I like it.
Passage.
I like it. It's interesting. I think, even though I'm like, I like it, it's like one of the things I love about the tarot is it's like, yeah, here's the fucking Three of Swords. It's like, you know what that means. It's like a heart with three swords in it. It's very cut and dry. However, when you pull these oracle cards, they take you on a bit of a journey, right? It's kind of nice.
It is, especially if you get someone that's, so that would be my example. This woman, this book, she's put a lot of effort into channeling these messages and her artwork. And so it's really good. So if you find something like, I love this one, then use it and treasure it. I have decks that I read the book and I'm like, that's a little pithy, and anyone could say that. And I don't use those ones very often. So just trust, and then trust what comes. Trust what comes.
That's right.
So obviously some of you need to know about creating your life, passage to passage.
That's right. And you and I need to know that too, I think.
I know. So you'll be shocked to know that anytime the Red Lipstick Babes pull a message, it's usually for them too.
Yeah, totally.
Oracle cards.
They're fun.
All right. We good?
I think so.
Okay. Magical Monday.
Mm.
Come work with us at our linktree.com site, www.linktr.ee/redlipstickbabes. Can't wait to see you there.